Welcome to Wisdom's Peaceful Harmony. I'm Dr. Lynette Wiest, and in this video, I'm going to talk about iMessages. iMessages, I think, are one of the most important communication tools you can have. And keep in mind, your relationships are built from communication skills, communication tools, communication patterns. So communication is really important. You want to have good relationships. And so what are iMessages? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about what they are. I'm going to give you some examples, and then I'm going to talk about some reasons you might be tempted not to use them. iMessages are the opposite of you messages. iMessages help you to be heard, to be understood, and to be responded to. iMessages, it's really important that they be really clear because they are a statement about what's happening to you, what you think, how you feel, what your emotions are. They're statements about what's going on inside of your skin, what your desires are, what your history is, what you're sensing in the moment, what your concerns are. So they're about yourself. By making an I statement or making an I message, you're taking responsibility for letting another person know what you want, what you wish for, what your expectations are, what your experiences are, and it lets them have information so that they can connect with you. It brings about mutual respect. Now, you messages are the opposite. They're statements about the person that you are speaking to. And so I'm going to give some examples of I messages and you statements. But you messages are often judgments and evaluations and accusations. And you statements often trigger defensiveness, and they get in the way of having a good connection with somebody. Sometimes you might be sharing information and not realize you're making a you statement because you think you're just talking about what you know, and all of a sudden the conversation goes off. Oftentimes it may be that you've made a you statement rather than an I message. And so realize you statements can provoke the other person to argue with you before they listen to you, because the you statement sounds like you're an expert on the other person, and really you need to be the expert on yourself and talking about yourself. So if you're in a disagreement, especially, don't use you statements. And so, some examples of you statements that you can turn into I statements are something like, you never make enough time to talk. I need some time to talk about some things. You should care more about our future. I'm concerned about our future. Do you care about this too? Because I'm really feeling alone in this. You aren't cooperating with me. I'm feeling alone. Can we talk about cooperating more? You don't make me a priority. I feel hurt. I don't feel like I'm a priority to you. You're selfish to travel so much. I'm afraid I'm losing you when you're gone so much. So you can hear the difference there. It still may be difficult, or it might be a challenge for the other person to really understand what you're saying. And it's okay that they ask questions, and it may take more back and forth for them to really understand what's happening for you. But it's so much better than if you're making an I or a you statement towards them, and then all of a sudden there's a barrier there because they're defending themselves or they're mad. Now, what are some reasons that you might be tempted to make the you messages rather than the I messages? 6 reasons. So the first reason can be that you might feel too vulnerable. Second, you might fear that your message will be ignored. Third, you might expect that the other person somehow knows the information without you telling them. Fourth, you might expect that you should be taken care of, and that because it's their responsibility to take care of you, so somehow they should know about you without you saying anything. Fifth, if you think that expressing your request is selfish, you might be tempted not to express it. Expressing who you are is self-respect. It's your responsibility. The other people need to know how to connect with you. So it's mutual respect because it respects them also. And then a sixth reason you might be tempted not to use an I statement or to use a you statement is that you believe that an unclear expression of a request will avoid disappointment or criticism. And so it's so important just to kind of really keep in mind the primary purpose of communication is to let other people know who you are and how they can best connect with you. Using communication skills, you can offer love and support and advice and everything that you wish to express with I statements. Others can learn how to best connect with you with your I statements. Communication is a wonderful vehicle from which to build your relationships. And productive communication does require several skills, several tools. So make sure that you're using those. You learn them in your families and society and in your culture. So we all have different ones. So it's important to share them, help each other understand which communication tools really are the most useful. And be careful not to use destructive communication. Destructive communication can wreak havoc in your relationships. A quote from Jay Brown is, "Words, they're so powerful. They can crush a heart or heal it. They can shame a soul or liberate it. They can shatter dreams or energize them. They can obstruct communication or invite it. They can create defenses or melt them. So we have to use our words wisely." End quote. I hope this information has been useful. If you would like to receive notifications about future videos, please press the subscribe button, and also please share this information with anybody who you feel could benefit from it. Welcome.